If you are running a small or medium sized business, I want you to think about something for a moment. You know that pile of materials in your back room that you have been meaning to do, or something with it? That equipment you replaced but haven't sold it, those customers' returns, sittings in the storage. What if I told you that stuff isn't just a clutter? It's potentially worth thousands of dollars in additional revenue. For most SMEs, hidden opportunities are sitting right under their noses. Unlike large corporations with massive R&D budgets, small business have something even more valuable, or we could call it as a agility. You can pivot, test, and implement new ideas faster than any Fortune 500 company. It's crazy, but that's true. SMEs make up more than like 99% of all business in UK, yet most circular economy strategies are designed with large corporations in mind. That's exactly why today's conversation matters, because if you are a small or a medium sized business owner, this episode is just for you. We are not talking about lofty ideas or expansive overhauls. We are talking about practical, profitable strategies that turn waste into revenue, build customer loyalty, and future proof of your operations. Welcome back to the Sustainability Side, the podcast that takes you from theory to action. I'm your host, Dr. Sama, and in our past episodes, we have been covering the whole series related to the circular economy. If you have missed the past, it's okay, I got you covered. You can check the episodes in the I button here, or you could check the whole playlist down below. So, continue today, we are exploring the topic circular economy for small business owners. SMEs. We will be deep diving into it, especially on how it's creating a new revenue streams, reducing cost and building customer loyalty for small and medium enterprises. So, whether you run a 15% manufacturing shop, a family restaurant, or a regional service business, or growing tech startup, the principles we'll discuss today could add thousands or even tens of thousands to your annual profit with surprisingly little upfront investment. Today, as you all know, we will be hosting our very first guest in our podcast. With that note, we will have a small introduction. Then later on, we'll jump to the session.
Sing it loud, let's unite on the sustainability side. Feel the love day and night. Let's turn the tides, make a change today. Together we define our sustainable way with every step we take. We rise and glow on the sustainability side. Let them give us flow.
All right, joining me today is Karen Formosa, who's been making waves in sustainability space. She's a sustainability and a circular advocate, a positive global influencer, and the force behind practical sustainability in the UK. With a background in finance and passion for making sustainability accessible, Karen helps SMEs unlock the power of circular thinking without needing massive budgets or big teams. So, Karen, welcome you to the show, and it's my absolute pleasure, and I'm so thrilled to have you here.
Hello, and welcome. Welcome to your listeners and to your viewers. I'm absolutely delighted to join you today. It is a real honor to be here. And I would like to say a heartfelt thank you to you, Dr. Sama, for the kind invitation to have me part of this inspiring podcast series. So, my aim today is to spotlight how circularity isn't just for big players in business. I want to show you that circularity is practical, it's powerful, and entirely within reach for even the smallest of businesses. And I am here to help you take that first step. So, let's dive in.
Yes, so with that note, let's continue, with the basics. So, as we all know, the circular economy is just a fundamental shift and how we think about or value creation. For the listeners who are new to this, how would you define? You can explain like how would you define what the circular economy in contrast to the traditional linear economy models. So this is going to be my first question. You can explain like what is a traditional model, how it's differing from a circular economy.
Right. So traditional business follow what we call the linear economy model. So this
Hmm.
basically is the model where we take resources or raw materials from Earth, we make the products
Hmm.
with them or out of them, and we use those products, and then we dispose of them at their end of life as waste. You can think of it as a straight line. So the raw materials go in one end, the products come out in the middle, and then waste would come out on the other end. And this model has driven economic growth for centuries, but it has one major flaw. It
Hmm.
assumes that there is an infinite number of resources for us and an infinite waste capacity. And as many of us know, infinite anything does not
Hmm.
exist in the real world. Now, the circular economy flips this model on its head. Now, instead of a straight line, imagine a circle, resources
Okay.
flowing in continuous loops, waste from one process becomes an input to another, um, and products are designed to be either repaired or reused, and nothing truly gets thrown away. But here's what makes this interesting for small business owners. Every point in that circle represents a potential for a revenue stream. So let me give you a concrete example of a small furniture maker I had worked with personally. So this is just to show the difference between thinking linear and thinking
Mm-hmm.
circular. So let's take traditional small furniture maker. What do they
Okay.
do? So they buy the wood, they make, for example, tables from that wood, and they sell those tables. Now, the
Yes.
customers then use those tables for some time, and then they eventually throw them away when they are either broken or when they are of no use to them any longer. Now,
Yeah.
this model shows one revenue stream, and it also highlights another important factor, which is often overlooked here: the fact that once the table is sold and the customer leaves the shop or the unit, that relationship with that customer is basically over. Um,
Okay.
if you then, now let's look at that same furniture maker, same furniture manufacturer, but now let's put a circular thinking hat on. That same furniture maker still buys the wood just like the traditional one does, although this too can become circular. But now it thinks deeper and manufactures those tables in a way that they can be repaired if they're broken or if they're damaged. And just like the
Hmm.
traditional manufacturer, these tables are still then sold on to the customer, but with a very big difference. So the
Yes.
circular furniture manufacturer, the manufacturer that thinks in a circular fashion, decides
Hmm.
to attach an extra service to the finished product for its customers. So they
Hmm.
can decide to add an annual maintenance service, which allows the clients to go back to the manufacturer for any repairs they require. And what the manufacturer here has done is that he has given his clients what is known as a lifetime relationship guarantee. Now, what do I
Okay.
mean here? What this basically means is that the clients will keep returning to the manufacturer or to the shop, as now they are reassured that their much loved item can be repaired
Hmm.
without it having to be thrown away. And
Hmm.
the circular manufacturer can go even further than that by providing yet another service. So he can actually buy back those tables from its customers when they decide that they do not serve their purpose anymore. The manufacturer
Understood.
buys back those tables, refurbishes
Hmm.
them, and gives them a new life and eventually resells them to new customers. So, as you can see, from that one table, two new revenue streams were created.
Hmm.
Um,
Right.
but we can add more. Let's
Hmm.
see how.
Okay.
So if if you really think about it, when wood products are made, the manufacturer is left with heaps and heaps of leftover wood scraps. Now,
Yes,
these wood
yes.
scraps, if we think like the traditional manufacturer would think, will now be classed as waste. And if the
Yes, of
manufacturer
course.
wanted to dispose of it, then there would most probably be a disposal fee attached. Now,
Yeah.
here's where the new revenue stream comes in for the circular thinking manufacturer. Now, these wood scraps might not be enough to create the tables anymore, but they can
Hmm.
be repurposed into other items. It could be such as simple cutting boards or other wooden items that can be made from the scraps, which
Okay.
they can then eventually be sold to other customers. The skills
Hmm.
are there, the equipment is already there. So there's not a large investment that the
Hmm.
manufacturer needs to make. They just need to make new and smaller items. And so
Hmm.
that's the third revenue stream. Furthermore, if we think a little bit deeper, the sawdust that emanates from the work can also be turned into another revenue stream. So I have
Okay.
recently learned that sawdust is a really good material. It's versatile in the garden.
Hmm.
And
Oh,
that,
okay.
yeah, and that it can serve many, many purposes. So if the manufacturer sells that sawdust to local gardeners, then there it is, your other potential revenue stream. So
Yeah.
now,
It's great.
yeah, yeah, it's fascinating. So now that
Yeah.
same table has many different revenue streams. In fact, from this scene alone, we have created four different revenue streams. And
Exactly.
And more importantly than that, every customer has now also become a long term relationship.
Yes. That's
And
insane. Yeah, that's true.
yes, that's true. And the best part of it, you know what that is? Is that it didn't require a massive investment or a
Okay.
complete business restructuring. It just requires thinking differently about what you're
Hmm.
already doing. You think differently about what you're already doing, and you can create these new revenue streams that will add business and will add value to your business. So I was back in contact with that small furniture maker last year because I wanted to
Hmm.
follow up on what they had done and which strategy they chose. So this small business has been operating for over 25 years, and what they
Hmm.
decided to do is that they decided to offer their clients the added service of refinishing their pieces. So some clients would have bought their products from this manufacturer maybe 10, 15 years ago.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
when some years go by, you'd say, "Oh, this has been here for so long. It needs to go out." But what this furniture manufacturer did, he said to his clients, listen, if you've got something that we made for you 10, 15 years ago, bring it in and let us refinish those pieces again, um, and make them new again for you as an extra service.
Yeah.
So if you look at this structure, so the cost to implement for the manufacturer,
Hmm.
it cost them almost nothing, as they already
Yeah.
had the skills and the workspace and the equipment to do what they wanted to do. And listen
Exactly.
to this because this is good. They managed to make over £20,000 more
Oh, wow.
from from their customers, who they themselves were thrilled to have their much loved pieces refreshed
Hmm.
instead of having to buy new. So
Indeed.
the insight that I would like to pass on here is that in a circular economy, you're not just selling your products. over time, you're
Hmm.
also managing your relationships with your clients and the resources that you use too. And I believe that as a small business, you have advantages, or a small business has advantages that big companies don't, because small businesses know their customers really well. They can move quickly,
Yes.
and they can customize solutions in ways that big corporations just simply cannot.
That's really interesting, chapter that you shed a light on. It's like we always think it's a small business. What can we do? We don't have resources. We don't have that, investment and everything. But you you shed a light on a different chapter that literally opened my eye. Of course, our viewers who are listening, they'll be like, oh yeah, this is nice, why didn't I do it? They might be having this light bulb moment. So I understand this, but I have another question following up. Like, wouldn't be like so much expensive and costlier for the small business owners if we are going to do this process for the longer term?
That is a question I hear far too many times, Dr. Sama. Now, I know
Hmm.
that any small business owner who's listening to us right now might just be thinking that. And I do get that concern. I really do, because I work with them. But
Hmm.
as a small business, we know that you do not have endless resources to experiment with. But here's the thing, for small businesses, most successful circular strategies start small and they are built on gradually. So let me
Okay.
give you briefly the three core
Uh-huh.
principles that the circular economy operates on. I believe that
Hmm.
these principles should be understood by any business owner, and irrespective of the size of the business. So, first,
Okay.
we need to think about designing out waste. This means that
Hmm.
you need to think about the end of life of your product from day one. What happens when your customer is done with your product? Where does it end up? Can it be repaired, upgraded, or maybe completely recycled? Is there a way to maybe extend its life in some way? Um,
Hmm.
Secondly, we need to think of ways to keep the products and materials in use for longer. So, this is where the services, like the ones I mentioned before, complementing the products, rather than
Hmm.
just selling just the physical item, offer access to another function or outcome to the product that keeps the customers coming back, and then which also keeps that product in use for longer. And thirdly, we need to regenerate our natural systems. So, what does that mean? So, this is about us giving back more than we take. So, every product design requires businesses to find ways to create a positive impact on the communities and the environments in which they operate. Actions
Hmm.
that would restore biodiversity or source in different ways that would regenerate our ecosystems and support the local communities. What I call this is essentially from doing less harm to doing more good. Now, I have to say, these are not just philosophical concepts. They're practical business strategies that smart companies are already implementing to increase their profits, to reduce their risks, and to build stronger relationships with their customers.
That's really nice because when we were talking about it earlier, I had this question in the back of my mind. Okay, okay, okay. But end of the day, you know what? No matter what the circularity we talks about, end of the day, it always comes with a cost. That is what you answered me like in such a nice way. Now, just a small question: is there anyone from India that has reached out to you, or have you consulted any Indians or anyone from African countries or anyone from Asian countries? Because I know your forte is like UK and European countries. But can you shed some insights on this? Because I believe a lot of our listeners are Asians. I would say like 70% of them are Asians, and then slowly now, gradually, we are having EU and US, UK kind of listeners. But
Yeah.
majority,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yes, since we've been operating, yes, obviously we are based in the UK. But the frameworks that we provide can be performed anywhere in the world. Actually, just recently, I was in contact with a person in Africa, and I am trying to help him sort of get circularity and sustainability through to a multiple of small business. Before I do that, I need to educate as well. That's what he asked me to do, and I will do that. I'm actually in talks with him to see how we're going to go move forward with things. And apart from that, I have worked with two people or two small companies from India with on
Hmm.
forward small companies, and it seems that India is really really into
Yeah.
sustainability, and it's something that I really love seeing. I think they are really forward thinking in in how they want to do things, and I am so glad that we can help them achieve what they truly want for their small business. Even if
That's
it's teaching. Teaching is a big
hmm.
one for me too,
Yeah.
because awareness is the key to then starting your sustainability or circularity journey.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, having a right mindset is very important, because if you lack this, then doesn't matter whatever strategies you're going to explain, it will be like of no use. If anybody wants to reach out to you apart from the social media, like what is the process? Is there any process? Or if you can let us, some insights, it will be nice.
They can either send us a message through our website, which is www.practicalsustainability.uk. You can either send me an email on practicalsustainability.coach@gmail.com, or I'm mostly on LinkedIn, so you can actually contact me through LinkedIn or my other social media platforms. I aim to answer all queries the fastest that I could. But yeah, please feel free to contact me and see where I can help. Gladly.
Thank you so much. Because like we talked a lot of incredible things, but I'm pretty sure people want to reach out to you, but they should not feel hesitate. Okay, where
Oh yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
yeah.
Watch this if you are someone struggling from diabetes. Balancing sugar levels often gets in the way of enjoying simple moments. Introducing Diavita, a herbal formula inspired by Ayurveda. It supports healthy sugar balance naturally so you stay active and independent. Because every step, every meal, every lab matters. Take charge of your health with Diavita.
If I am an SME, this is what I want, because I know I want to start. Okay, I started. I saw it's a working model. I did, but how I'm going to take care of it? How is the longevity, the agility? That will be the biggest question. And if you are just like me, Karen Formosa is the right person for you. She explained all this complex situation in a very small steps, just 6 steps. It's not that big. Imagine that 6 steps could change your life, the life around you, the people around you, the business that you had, the relation that you have with the circularity. So if you are awestruck like someone like me, then she is the right person. Go to her and ask what are the doubts you have. She is the queen of SMEs, I would say, regarding the circularity. So all the questions, she is the one stop solution. Go to her, check her channel out, reach out to her. She is your perfect guide. So yeah, with that note, I'm still in that awestruck moment, the roadmap we have shared with us, because most people struck with the implementation. Even if they did, they don't know. When they get a negative feedback, they're like, okay, that's it, done. This model is not gonna work. But you encourage them to go with the transparency, because transparency is what like everybody loves about. It's not only the success stories you have to share. The failure is the biggest lesson anyone could teach. And if you can able to share this with the people who are like watching you or listening you, then they are like, yeah, this is what I'm going through, let them come forward. You took them from their that kind of a comfort zone, and you're like, be vulnerable, it's good to be vulnerable. So that's great thing that you have explained to us. And you know what, guys, if you're listening to us, she is explaining all these things in a very simple way, but there's a big story behind it, the hard work, the efforts experience the most. So if you want to support her, go to her channel, the Practical Sustainability, and also support her, reach out to her. And that's what we are talking on. And if you want to listen more of this, all this kind of breakdown of this 6 steps, which is like how you are going to do, listen to us in Coffee and Patreon. With this, let's bring all this together. We will see like what would be your advice to any SMEs owner listening to this right now. So you can summarize all together in one go.
I see the circular economy isn't just an environmental movement, it's actually a smart business strategy, one that forward thinking SMEs are using it to cut costs, to boost profits, and build stronger customer relationships. And often they're doing it with minimal upfront cost. So the businesses we've talked about today all discovered that the most sustainable approach was also the most profitable. They did not sacrifice profits for principles. They discovered that managing resources wisely actually improves their bottom line. And as a small or medium sized business, you have advantages that large corporations don't. Like we said, you know your customers personally, you can pivot quickly when something does not work, and you can build local partnerships that create mutual value. So these
Hmm.
advantages make you ideally positioned to succeed with circular strategies. So here's my advice: look back at what we talked about and revisit the circularity implementation roadmap we walked through. Make it your mission to start this week and just track what your business throws away, gives away, or pays to dispose of. As I said, just don't overthink it and just note it down. Then just move on down the roadmap. And I promise that by the first week, you will spot opportunities you hadn't even considered. And by the second week, you'll have identified at least one idea which is worth testing. The circular economy is happening whether you participate or not. And the question is, do you want to be ahead of the curve, capturing maybe new opportunities and building competitive advantage? Or do you want to be that business that's just playing catch up with your competitors when they start offering the services and the partnerships
Hmm.
that could have been yours? And I'll end with something really, really something that they can ponder on. So before I conclude, I'll leave you with this. Remember that every piece of waste in your business represents money you've already spent that could potentially be generating you additional revenue. Every customer transaction could be the start of a long term relationship rather than just a one time sale. And every resource challenge could be a partnership opportunity with another local business. The
Hmm.
circular economy isn't about being perfect, it's about being smarter with the resources you're already using. And as an SME, you're perfectly positioned to do exactly that. Thank you very much for listening.
That's incredible. And as you always blow the mind, guys, if you are listening and thinking this sound doable, then it's a time to take the first step. You know what to do. Karen's roadmap shows even a simple waste audit or a pellet repair service can unload a new value. So grab a notepad, talk to your team, and start mapping your opportunities. You don't need perfection, you just need a momentum. So if you think, I want to know more about this roadmap, well, you know what to do. Go to our Patreon and Coffee and check the whole episode without cuts. You could also get to know the behind scenes, BTS. And if you think, yeah, yeah, I listen to it, but my strategy is like working on, but I'm stuck somewhere. Don't worry, we got you covered. You know where to go. Reach out to the Karen. She's the right person. She's the right guide anyone could have so that she can give you a customized plan. So, Karen, thank you so much for sharing such an insightful, actionable strategies. What I love the most is like how grounded this conversation has been, and like definitely no jargons, no fluff, just a real tool for real businesses. Circularity isn't just about sustainability, it's about smarter business, and you have like explained this all in a very constructed and a very strategical very conversational way. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Sama.
Yeah, its pleasure is mine. So, if today's conversation resonated with you guys, don't just stop at listening. Join our growing community at the sustainability side. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. And even if you would like to go a step further, as I always mention, support us through Coffee or Patreon, where members get an exclusively bonus episode, of course, deep dive toolkits and behind the scene contents and access to the sustainability strategies that actually work. And you could also give your love and support to Karen. Check her channel out. And definitely, she is such a nice person. And check her social media to reach out to her. Link in the description below. Moving on, as before you go, there is a little sneak peek of what's coming up next week. We will be zoning out from the business, and we will be asking a very bigger question, which is like how to redesign ownership, how the circular thinking is reshaping our lives. We'll explore how circular principles are changing the ways we think about protections or like even the services, and overall the relationships, from renting clothes to sharing cars to owning tools. It's a mindset shift that's already need to be. Thanks for turning into the sustainability side. Together we are not just talking about the change, we are making it, because the sustainability isn't mine, it's ours. Until next time, we will see you with much more. Take care, stay tuned, curious, and inspired only on the sustainability side.
Feel the joy, let's unite on the sustainability side, making